time to leave my day job, and we're going to kind of transition that into how do I leave my day job, I think, right? Because I think we talked about the idea of how do you know it's time to do it, Jack, and there may not be that aha moment. Before I get into that real quick, let me give them the numbers, how they can reach us here. And we're live in the studio every Wednesday from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Live in the studio here at 440-946-9468. Again, 440-946-9468. Or hit us up on the Twitter sphere at MaximumVP, at JackMMVP, and at Adam Sonhalter. We'd love to hear from you to get some of your feedback or thoughts on this stuff. So you were talking about kind of jumping off the cliff. I'm talking about going to that abyss, the angst and the feelings. And again, the feelings of excitement and fear are pretty similar. And so it's hard to tell which is which. But those are very, very normal. And what happens is if you talk to most owners who've made this jump, if you ask them that question, hey, were there certain things that you're afraid of, and then did any of those fears come true? Chances are most of them can't recall what those fears were.
That's right. They could never be articulated because they don't know what they don't know. So you know, people on the outside of the small business world looking in, they think small business owners know it all. And that's not a negative comment.
We do, don't we, Jack?
Well, we do, but that's no. They think they know it all, and they're lucky, and boy, I wish I could do that kind of thing. But that's not true at all. They jump into the venture. Maybe they have a plan that's quite detailed, which is unlikely, and so they jump in, and they find that they can start to answer questions as they go along. And that's typically what happens. Most small business owners, even after they've been running their company for a number of years, and we can attest to this, we could, we know it, they don't understand business. They don't understand business when they start their company, and after years of running a business, they often still don't really understand business. So what words or what fears can they really articulate other than sleeping under a bridge and losing everything? Yeah, they can't talk about receivables if that's an issue, and cash flow and getting employees and motivating employees because they've never done it before. So they learn on the job, and that's why it gets bumpy and awkward, and they lose money and they get frustrated and people quit on them, and that all of a sudden is taking experiences and putting it into the learning bag. So after a couple of years, they're pretty good. That's why we make sense to small business owners, because we help them kind of straighten out and have them understand what they've been doing for a couple of years and then how to best regroup and go forward. So, starting your own business can be daunting if you let it be daunting. Most people are ready. Well, no, I shouldn't say most people. Many, many people who start businesses are really ready to do it. So why don't more of them do it? What do you think, Adam? Why do they not do it?
You keep beating around the bush here, Jack. You keep waiting for this word to come out of your mouth that hasn't come out yet. Any idea what that word might be?
I have no idea.
Begins with an E.
Wow. Eagles? No.
No, that's... come on.
I don't know.
Make me sick.
I'll know when I know when I hear it.
It's also what people will do often right before they get married. The idea of what they're going to do is it's a part of that word. What's that period before they're married is called a what?
Engagement.
Right, there you go, Jack.
You're absolutely right. We were just talking about that word.
We were. That's
right.
So,
that's good. You brought it up because it's the right word at the moment.
So what you're talking about, so picture we don't have someone like Jason who's got to kind of figure out what he wants to do. He has a side business kind of going, kind of jump started. Okay, somebody's got no friggin' clue what they want to do. How do you figure out what you want to do? Well, you don't figure it out by reading a bunch of stuff, reading a bunch of books, talking to a bunch of people who aren't doing it. The way you do it is you start to engage. Start to engage people.
Big word. Okay. Yes.
So what does that mean? So one example, Jack's talked about the idea of looking to go buy a company or acquire a company. So go engage a current business owner and talk to them about their business, about the idea of perhaps acquiring their business. See what that looks like, it sounds like, it feels like. Get uncomfortable. Get out of your natural zone. You have a great story that I've heard numerous times, Jack, as far as how you got started in real estate. Maybe you should share that with our audience here a little bit, because your point about the idea of people will use one of the roadblocks is, I need to have my plan in place. I need to have it all kind of figured out. And that's a bunch of BS when you're starting. Just kind of get out there and start doing stuff. ask what you might think are silly or stupid questions, make mistakes along the way a little, but get out there and start doing stuff. So how did you ever get involved in real estate, Jack?
Oh boy, I had a real good college friend who he and I wanted to buy real estate, small real estate, because we didn't know anything about it. We didn't know how much we didn't know until we decided to put our heads together and say, look, we have a few bucks here. It wasn't a lot. We had some money. We were much younger than I am now, and we wanted to buy real estate. We wanted to. How do you do this? Just go in and buy. All we knew is a little bit about our parents buying houses, this kind of thing. So we went about looking for property, and we started with commercial property, so rather than buy a house. And we said, boy, we'd like to get this, but we didn't know how to really analyze it. We didn't know how to do anything about it. And we realized that after going out and talking to a few people who had businesses for sale and real estate for sale. And we made complete fools of ourselves, really, with the kind of questions we asked. And it was every one of those foolish questions that we felt a little embarrassed on. Every time we did it, we got stronger because we got more knowledgeable. And ultimately, we started to bring in experts, buy them dinner and sit down. We'd read books a little bit and then figure out between ourselves, we don't know what the heck we're reading here. So let's bring in a broker, let's bring in a lawyer. And we'd sit down and we have, dinner or lunch with them and pick his brain. And then we go out and engage again with people selling properties. And it all of a sudden, after about a year of doing this, and it was long, and we spent time in between, we became very knowledgeable about how to buy real estate and how to buy a small business, which subsequently that's what I chose to do more of than the real estate. But the point is, it was engaging. My friend and I would talk so far, go read books, come back, talk again, and we realized that all of a sudden we were hitting the wall. We didn't know what the heck we were doing. And then we got better verification, but nothing better happened until we went out and engaged people actually selling the property. And after a while, we found we were better than they were.
Okay, so I think where most people might start or actually get stuck is they may kind of read some of those things or study it. In today's day and age, maybe they don't read books, maybe they're going online
Right.
and looking for articles online. Maybe they're watching some YouTube videos about some stuff. Maybe they're even going to some seminars or something like that, right? Where they're going out and gathering information. But that's equivalent to being in a classroom, right? You're kind of taking information in, but you aren't engaging the standpoint where you're kind of going out there and really trying to make it happen and what's more what I'll call the real world. And so it's helpful to kind of start that way to kind of understand maybe where you want to start. So you had some interest in real estate, you were intrigued by it, you kind of learned some stuff about it, but you realized quickly, hey, we had two guys that don't really know a lot and we're talking to each other, so pretty soon that discussion ends. So I think that's where, again, I would venture to say more than half the people kind of get stopped right there.
Right there.
And if they were to just go out and realize, your point, if I'm going to go out and I'm not quite sure how to talk to somebody, okay, so I got a 14-year-old boy who's just started high school, and they had their first mixer. He was an all-boys high school, and they had a mixer where a bunch of girls came in, and so it's very awkward. I picture the 14-year-old teenage boy, right? And you got these girls that just kind of show up, girls I've never met before. What do I do? How do I engage? So.
Well, that's still a problem for a 30-year-old guy, right?
It's okay, but at least at that point you've kind of been through it a few times. You can kind of maybe fake your way through it a little bit better. At least you kind of, or you know the feelings. Or
That's right. You gain confidence.
Right.
Right.
So, Shanna, try as much as we can to kind of coach him up a bit, and kind of give him some advice or guidance, and we do a little bit up front, but we realize that hey, he's got to kind of go through and experience it a bit. And then let him come back and we'll talk afterwards. Okay, how'd this go? What was the situation? And help him prepare and see what kind of happened a little bit. So it kind of help give him a little bit of guidance. But once he gets that experience and kind of sees it in reality, here's what that looks like. Okay, same thing.
That's a good analogy, Adam. So, that's exactly what happens. That's the process that happens.
Yeah, so if I'm going to go talk to an owner, okay, so picture that. So if you think you want to go own a company, and we see this all the time, so we're involved with a lot of our clients of going to look and search for acquiring other companies. And the first time out, many of our clients, and these are often owners who've been owners of companies for years, they get the yips. I'll call it the yips. They use that golf term, right? They're like they aren't sure what to do. They kind of, well,
what do I do? What do I say? What kind of questions do I ask? Well, okay, let's role play it.
I give you a list. Here are the top 10 questions to ask, right? Put them down. But again, What are you gonna sit with that like you're
Even then, when you go ask that question to the guy, he looks at you, you're looking at him, and now what do I do?
Right.
It's that, and the more you engage, the better you can do this. And this comes back to, when do you know when to leave your day job? Well, if you've been doing this for a while, you gain so much confidence that it's time. We can't put the precise figure or even give you the precise language. Nobody can as to when it's actually time. But if you have confidence, a little staying power, you're going to recognize the deal and you're going to say to yourself, okay, I'm moving towards Monday morning. I'm ready. I'm ready to do it. And it's an individual thing. It is just so individual, it's unbelievable.
So you find reasons to do it, and what will probably happen is you might take a little bit of a step back in terms of if you're focused on your income, again, that job mentality. You don't view it as a demotion. Again, view it as a chance to kind of get freed up. You're going to learn a ton, and all the energy. Because again, the stuff you're describing, Jack, with the real estate was stuff you were doing on the side.
That's right. That's exactly right.
It was like, hey, you're spending a Saturday hanging out in a certain neighborhood, combing the neighborhood, talking to people, doing stuff, and Alice probably thought you were nuts. Like, what are you doing on a Saturday? Instead of going to the kids' ball game, you're combing a neighborhood. Like, we are moving. Well, okay. Well, it's just, I'm curious. I want to check it out.
Yeah,
right?
That's work-life balance. I was able to get work-life balance. That's another show.
That's right. But it was fun because you were learning, and I think that's a big part of what makes an entrepreneur or business owner, again, to see if you're the right kind of person, is you enjoy learning, you enjoy growing and getting better, and to do it for yourself. And you mentioned earlier, Jack, most of the owners, when they started, even when they're in business now, don't necessarily have all the answers. They might fake it better. Again, it's going back to that 14-year-old to the 30-year-old talking to a strange girl or young lady. You kind of fake it, and you have a little more confidence, even if you don't know it. It kind of comes across that way a little bit better, right?
That's
right. That's
right.
what most owners are. They were kind of faking it maybe a little early on. They're better at faking it now, but realizing that, hey, you know what, you're probably maybe better than you thought, and it's not as intimidating as you thought. So,
well, that's experience. That's what experience does to you, good and bad.
So that's our engagement part here. We'll come back with